Hi everyone, my name is Kayla. Welcome back to Kay's Hidden Shelf, where we talk about books. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my spoiler-free review for The Army of the Cursed by Karim Soliman. Let's dive in. Now, I did receive this copy in exchange for an honest review, and this was an action-packed, epic fantasy where humanity faces extinction. Now, this is a self-published book at about 460 pages. It's book one in the War of the Last Day series, which is also a sequel series to the Tales of Gorania, I believe is how you pronounce that. Not only that, it's an SPFBO semi-finalist from 2021, and I can definitely see why. First, this takes place in the world of Gorania. This is an intricate world with a deep-set history to it, various kingdoms and terrains. Humanity is preparing for the last day to arrive, in which the army of the cursed has been foretold to come and lay waste to all humans. The mages of this world are dedicated to basically being the last line of defense between humanity and the army of the cursed, despite the skepticism that they do seem to receive in some areas. This story does have multiple POVs or points of views, with three characters primarily standing out, including Layla, Nardine, and Halgrim. In addition to these three POVs that we see, we get another 5 characters that we get chapters from and their perspectives. Now, while not all of these characters have continuous chapters throughout the story, we might only see one chapter from a particular character. This just added a deeper set to the story as we get to see different angles of the events that are occurring throughout the book. Now, I will say that with these additional 5 points of views, these are characters that do have a strong presence or connection to the main 3 characters we get POVs from. So these aren't just random side characters that we get perspectives from, they do have some form of strong relationship or impact with our main 3 characters, Layla, Nardine, and Halgrim. Something I want to address is that prior to starting this book, I had received some feedback from other readers that this might not be the best place to start. As this is a sequel series, they did recommend that it was best to get the full experience by starting with the Tales of Gorania first. Now, while I haven't read the Tales of Gorania, I did find that Karim Soliman did an excellent job at keeping me in the loop on crucial details from what I assume is from that series. Let me explain. The 3 main characters we get perspectives from throughout the book seem to be the younger generation compared to the Tales of Gorania, so the next generation, if you will. Notable events are often detailed from the older generations to the younger ones via forms of conversations, either explaining about the histories of the kingdoms, their families, what have you. As a reader, this gave me the feeling that I was learning about the history of these other characters from the Tales of Gorania via the experience of a parent telling their history or stories to their children. Now, these scenes were woven into dialogues and conversations between characters. I felt it was done in a way that worked because it also impacted these characters' choices and how they reacted to certain situations. It also made an impact on the relationships they have with these characters. As a result, for myself, I had no troubles jumping into Army of the Cursed without having read the previous series. Now, it didn't necessarily feel like info dumping to me because I could see how it was working with the characters' relationships, and I did appreciate that subtlety. However, this is going to be an individual experience. Whether or not you want to start with Army of the Cursed or the Tales of Gorania first is completely up to you. Just know that the Army of the Cursed is written in a way where you don't have to read the previous series. That choice is entirely up to you and the type of experience you're looking for. I also wanted to note that in the physical copy, I really appreciated that there is an outline of all the different kingdoms, the cultures, and you get a history of those places along with the characters that come from each of those lands. This was just a great reference and something that I appreciated getting more detail from in a concise manner when I was trying to get a better understanding of what kingdom was which and what the differences were. This was a great help, as just within a couple paragraphs I had a great understanding of the differences in the kingdoms. Now, I do want to say that as the 3 main characters are in their teens, they do have a younger maturity to them. this can be hit or miss for some readers. For myself, it took about 25% of the book before I started to feel comfortable with the characters, though I did find some of their choices to be rash or sudden or random at times. You could say it goes along with being a teenager, but it just felt out of place in the time that I was reading it. By the time I finished the book, though, I did enjoy each one and the developments they got. Another thing that was a bit tricky for me was some of the word choices. At sections throughout the book, there are just word choices that felt modern to the world, and so just coming across those took me out of the reading experience a bit, but I found it happened less in the second half of the book. I will also say that the beginning of the book felt like a slow burn, where the second half, at around the 50% mark to the end, just took off, and I had a hard time putting this down. With action-packed scenes and high stakes, I quickly found myself lost in the pages. There was political intrigue, great action scenes, magic, some mystery, and engaging storylines. This also sets up for book 2, Tattered Banners. Overall, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. This is an epic fantasy I'd recommend you give a try. While there were some things that didn't work for me, there were lots of other things that did, and like I said, in the end, I had a hard time putting this down. I look forward to continuing the series with Tattered Banners, and in the meantime, is this something you'd like to pick up? Does it sound interesting? Have you read it already? Did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comments down below. I always love hearing from you. As always, thank you for watching, and take care of yourselves.